few minutes ago, you mentioned ideas, and we talked about having humility. So I had an example that I thought I would bring up here.
Yeah, please.
Let me share my screen. So, Vitor, a few years ago, some people asked me to implement a function to randomize effects in a front, and I couldn't understand why that would be useful. In fact, I thought, well, that would be a dumb feature. And finally, I ended up implementing it because the people asking for it insisted. And so I eventually implemented this randomized feature, and it just became one of my favorite features. So I thought I would show it because it's an example of something I had no idea this would be a good feature. I thought it would be a dumb feature. It turned out to be just delightful. So if you have a front of positions like this here, where I think I put out 50 positions or so, and I'm just going to insert an effect into all of them of a comet. Just put in a red comet there. So you can see there's just a whole bunch of red comets shooting up at once. And now I'm going to duplicate those effects to get maybe 4 or 5 per shot, per position. So I'll just duplicate once. Okay, so now we've got a lot more effects. They look almost like mines now. Okay. Now I'm going to put them into a sequence separated by 1/10 of a second in between them. And as you can see, it moves across from left to right. And then that just sets up this randomized feature, which was just to select all of the effects and reorder them and put them in a random order. And that's it. Now watch when I play this back. It just creates a lovely field of kind of a wall of color, and you could do things like change the color. I'll change these to blue. Change these to peach. And try again.
Yeah.
So it was so lovely to do. And then so I implemented this feature and I fell in love with it immediately and gave it back to the people who asked for it. And then they told me that I had a bug. And they said, it's not random. I said, well, what do you mean? And they said, well, sometimes in your randomized feature, there would be 2 shots that would come out of the same position, one after another. And they said, well, that's not random. And I thought, well, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure that I had a good random number generator and that I was doing it really random. I didn't think I had a bug. But what I realized was that if you have 2 shots or 3 or 4 come out in sequence from the same position, one after another, that even though that actually is random, if you just roll random dice, sometimes the dice comes up with the same number twice in a row. Even though it actually is random, it sort of catches your eye if you're watching a fireworks show and it doesn't look random. So the feature that the person wanted actually was not just randomized. It was randomized with some adjustments to remove whenever a sequence would occur by happenstance. And so we added that, and you don't notice, but you don't notice when it's working. So, in this example that we were playing here, there are never two shots in a row coming from the same position. But if this was truly random, there would be. Anyway, I thought that was kind of an interesting observation. And it sort of comes back to the point about you have to be humble, because you might think that you know what you're doing at the beginning, and you learn that there's always something.